Hello my lovelies and welcome to a new fantasy time lapse. Today we're going to be talking about the combination of different art paths I chose on my art career. First, let's talk about the painting itself that you're going to be watching in the background. Okay, so this piece is called Prism. It's an oil painting. It's 8 by 10. So there's a couple of different things I really wanted to experiment with in this piece, and I really love the way that it turned out. I am so excited to have this in my portfolio. I really wanted to work on my blending techniques. So what that looked like was trying different pressures, different ways of blending. I eventually settled on one I really like, and I will do a whole entire video later on about my painting technique once I refine them a bit more and feel comfortable sharing them. I also really wanted to work on the way that I do and stylize eyes and eyelids and eye creases. I didn't do as much of that as I wanted to because of the way that the composition worked out. I like what I learned. I decided how I really like to do waterlines and eyelashes, and that's progress, and that's all this was for. It was progress. The story behind this piece is that I really wanted this dragon lady who has been alone for a really long time and just hasn't ever really had a friend. This little moth comes along and takes her out to the sea, and you don't get to see the ocean in this piece, but that's fine. The rainbows you see on her face are the light reflecting off the ocean wave. That's why I called it Prism. I really wanted it to show like a bit of companionship, a little bit of light and adventure and whimsy. I want to paint this dragon lady and moth again in a much larger piece where you see the whole and it's actually by the ocean. It's like the first part of this little saga of the dragon lady and the moth. So yeah, that's about all I have to talk about the piece itself. It is available for purchase. Let's talk about different art path careers and why I chose what I did. I want to talk about a couple of the different options that you have when you're choosing an art path. These are just a couple of the different buckets you can draw from, and they're very, very simplified. So one way you could go down is the traditional artist route. So when you think about this, you think of like publications, you think of art books sometimes, and most importantly, what you're going to think of is galleries that can look like juried shows or group shows or even solo exhibitions. That's kind of what you think of when you think traditional art career. So not all galleries take submissions. If you do make a submission to a gallery, you're not at all guaranteed to get represented. It's really hard to find galleries that will always align with your type of art. Another one that we're seeing a lot lately is social media. What that looks like is YouTube, Instagram, DeviantArt. Tumblr used to be really big. TikTok now. So artists that you see on there that are doing Patreon and making videos, and this can look like entertainment or education, or sometimes they teach classes. Kind of leads a little bit into client work, which looks like commissions, doing things for big brands, sponsorship. That's kind of a nice big umbrella bucket for that. The last big bucket I really want to talk about and get into is industry work. So that looks like animations, character design for games. These are just really big overviews, and I don't know everything about everything. I just wanted to give you like a nice little overview of some of the different options there are and what those could possibly look like. But you have a bit of context for what I talk about next, which is what you really need to think about is what you want out of an art career, what your values are, what you're really thriving for. If you're looking for financial stability, an industry job may be the way to go for you, honestly. Don't get me wrong. You aren't always guaranteed a job, but once you know you're getting that paycheck, and that's what matters. I would definitely recommend thinking about what you want out of life and what your values are as an artist and what you're really hoping for. What I really want this art career to look like for me is financial stability. I really want to share my art and inspire others, and I wanted to be able to learn as much as possible and fulfill my creative soul. I want my creative bucket to be constantly overflowing. So for me, that looks like not always making art for other people. That means being very, very selfish with what I create. So right out of the gate, industry work wasn't for me because I don't want to be told what to make. But I also wanted the space to be able to experiment and learn new things and play around. So for me, what I decided to mostly focus on was social media. I really want to be able to share as much as possible and inspire others as much as possible while still learning and growing as an artist in person. So that means I get to make videos about experimenting with new things. Like I have a video coming out soon where I'm making an entire oil painting with makeup brushes. I just thought it would be fun, you know? I wanted the creativity and freedom to learn and mess around with fun things. And so for me, that looked like social media. But also because I want the financial stability and I want to be able to inspire and touch as many souls with my art as possible, I do want to be in galleries and I do want to do some client work. I'm very much open to taking commissions in the future. I really wanted flexibility in my schedule, and I really wanted to be able to build an audience a collector base of people who wanted to create and who wanted to collect and have my work hanging up in their home. Like, I really want that. That's something that's so cool to me, is being able to look at a piece that you made a couple years ago and be like, that's hanging up in someone's house. That's so cool. Let's talk a little bit about what my plan is. So my goal is to really focus on social media and growing that aspect, because that is what I want to be able to do long term. I do want to sell originals and prints eventually and maybe do some commissions, but to do that I need to be able to have an audience that I'm already sharing my work with. I really want to build a gallery base of shows, mostly for funsies. That has nothing to do with my financial goals. It's really just something I want to be able to say I did at least a couple times. I might open to working with brands and clients for commissions and licensing in the future. I really want the flexibility in my schedule. I have 8 animals and I take care of my grandparents, who are very, very old and very, very disabled. So I needed the flexibility in my schedule to be able to spend as much time with both them and my pets as possible. Thank you all so much for hanging out with me and listening to me. I hope that this helped you get some direction and some ideas about what you might want to pursue in the future for your art career path, and gave you some clarity on what different things to think about. This painting is available for sale, so if you are interested in that, just shoot me an email if you would like to. I will see you guys all next week for my studio vlog, and I am so excited to see you all there. I hope you all have a really great day. Bye!